What is going on? You are listening, watching, Instagram living it to Tags Live. That's right. Talk about gay sex. The live version every Wednesday night on the Get Vocal platform, soon to be Vocal platform.
I'm so excited.
More info on that in just a little bit. But I'm your host, Steve V, alongside Cody Maurice Doggett. How you doing?
Hello, darling. I'm doing wonderful this evening. How are you?
I'm great. I'm really great. I'm back home, back in NYC. Happy to be back home here. And I had such a great, wonderful trip. There's nothing like home. And it's kind of weird. It's kind of a funny thing. I was listening to a song on my headset earlier about home. Home, obviously, for me is here after 13 years in NYC. So I'm happy to be back here. But I was really happy to be in the Bay Area, San Francisco, to see my mom after a year and a half, meet her new dog, celebrate my sister's birthday, go to the Santa Cruz. So much fun. It was just, words cannot express how happy I was. It was one of the best trips ever. Time away actually works.
Yeah, it does. It does. It makes the heart grow fonder. And we're happy to have you back. So welcome back, darling.
Thank you. And I know I was like, oh, I'm so happy to be back in New York. And I'm walking down the street and I'm like, yay, New York, people, boys. And of course, I witnessed an old man with two dogs and this lovely lady with her two dogs. And they got into this whole thing like, get out of my way. Oh, fuck off. This is a total. And I literally was walking down the street going, so happy to be back in the city. Oh, look, lovely. Yay! Even on this hot, I was actually happy because that is New York. It's the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything in between.
That's right.
And yeah, so anyways, welcome back me to NYC. All right. Well, we have got to get into it this week. We've got some announcements coming up your way. We've got a great show on our vulnerable voices. We're talking about backwards and forwards. That sounds sexy, but
when we get into it,
we'll get into it. But first, we couldn't help but talk about the story that is just making the waves about Samuel Munoz in Spain, who lost his life to a hate crime. 3 arrested in a brutal killing of 24-year-old Samuel Munoz, which just happened. Spanish police announced they had apprehended 3 men over killing of Samuel Luis, a 24-year-old nursing assistant. Luis had been beaten to death. Did I say Munoz? I may have gotten that wrong. It's Samuel Luis, correct?
Samuel Luis Muniz. I don't know if
I'm Munoz.
Oh,
okay.
Right.
So I'm saying his whole name then. Yeah. Okay. Yes. All right. Good. Luis had been beaten to death in the northwestern city of Coruña in Galicia in the very early hours just this past Saturday, July 3rd. And Luis was assaulted near a club, according to The Guardian. Luis died later in a hospital. The investigation remains open until the facts are clarified, but essentially it was 3 that they arrested, and Luis's friends told Spanish outlet El Mundo that he had left the club briefly to video chat with someone when 2 people accused Luis of filming them. And one of the men beat Luis in the face, the friends said, and a few minutes later they were joined by 12 others who attacked Luis, leaving him unconscious. Friends say that Luis was recording his friends, not the men. But you know what's been really amazing, if there is anything to be amazing about this, is LGBT in Spain organized huge, large, hundreds of thousands of demonstrators on Monday calling for justice after Luis's killing. Yes. According to reports, police turned out in riot gear and at times beat the crowds with batons. I didn't know that. And local politicians have criticized the police for their reaction to the protests. And a local Green Party spokesperson, Monica Garcia, was just one of those critics writing on Twitter about the police actions, about it, against it. I was watching another story, Cody, about this on the news today. Samuel Luis Munoz was 24. He was a nursing assistant. He was really close to his parents. They even called it friends to his parents. This is a larger incident of what many that were out on the street saying homophobia in Spain, like so many parts of the world. Spain will not tolerate this, the president of Spain said. And it's been a national reaction. There's been massive protests. But essentially, they're saying in Spain, there's been a rise in hate crimes that are happening in broad daylight in front of witnesses. And this is why they say pride is still needed because of this whole reason. Yeah. Cody, I mean, my God, it's tragic. It's, when you see the face of him, he was 24, he was a nursing assistant, my God. And then we know it was a hate crime. And then so there's the tragedy of it's just horrific. But on the other side, you see Spain, so many people marching on the streets. What's your reaction when you see all of this happening?
I mean, I'm just sad on the inside. It's just a horrible, heinous, and cowardly act. I posted about this earlier today because I want everybody out there to be and stand up against this type of like crazy hate. It's just so insane to me. It immediately took me back to I was in Spain 2 years ago for my birthday, just living my best gay life, like blissfully unaware. Like I had no idea that there was this much homophobia in Spain. I just want everybody to be safe. It was just so saddening.
Yeah, and I just think I'm so touched that there's so many people that are taking time to march and show. I mean, I think we've talked about it on this show before. It's not even just in Spain. I mean, even in our own country. I mean, I was going to talk about another story in just a second here, but essentially, we were talking about the more visibility you would think would be, we're at a great point. We talk about non-binary, people coming out as bisexual, first NFL player coming out, and there's all these great examples, but it's this fine line right now between visibility and uprising that homophobia hatred. And so we're in a turning point, not
for sure
that we need to see people like Samuel go for it. It's just, but my God, something needs to be done. I'm so glad for the people of Spain for really stepping up and standing up, because it's those kinds of protests that make a difference.
That's true. And we need to remain vigilant and keep pressing forward.
Absolutely. I mean, just here in our own country, a man was beaten unconscious in the Hudson County, which is here in New Jersey. They think for being gay, they're saying. And then the Attorney General announced Wednesday that a Baltimore-based teen had been charged with attempted murder and bias in intimidation for allegedly beating and choking a man he suspected of being gay. And this is in the North Hudson Park in North Bergen. Jose Tobias Carranza Serrano, aka Kevin Lopez, okay, name there, 18, of Baltimore, Maryland, and he was the one arrested, according to a release from the office of New Jersey, and he was charged for attempted homicide, first degree, bias, intimidation, first degree, robbery, first degree, and aggravated assault, second degree. It will be in. They're saying that in essentially what happened, and I guess he's going to have a case for the whole thing, but it's happening in our own country too.
It's true. It's happening right here in our backyard. New Jersey is so close, and I'm just glad that the guy is being prosecuted, and I really hope they throw the book at him, because this type of blatant hate and just is so horrible. I don't even have words.
Yeah.
Corey says that the Dominican Republic is passing a law to make it legal to discriminate against LGBTQ people. He's not sure if it passed yet, though.
And people that are, go ahead.
And Doug says, as a former deputy of 10 years, attacks like this happen all the time and go unreported because of the LGBTQ victim. They don't want their story to hit the news for fear of losing their job and facing further discrimination. So everybody
And that's why this is so amazing that Spain is just on the streets. Really, you can look up the hashtag Justice for Samuel, hashtag Justice for Samuel, to keep up with this and see. I mean, I hear what you're saying. They happen all the time. This seems different in that, well, he died, and
exactly.
But Spain is a lot more conservative, and their government, at least, and their people are really making it,
up
at least
in arms about it. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I saw the pictures, and all the love and the outpouring of support for this case is just inspiring, and it just gives me hope for the future. So
absolutely, we'll continue to report on this, sadly, but we've got to move on. And next up, Cody, do you ever look at Xtube videos on your
Who, me? Who, me? Maybe once or twice. I can't say yes, I can't say no. Well, it might be bookmark in my browser. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't, darling.
Well, MindGeek Tube site, which owns the Xtube, is shutting it down come September. Yep, that's right. MindGeek owned tube site Xtube will be closing shop for good September 5th. So enjoy it while you can this summer in your hot vac summer. They quietly revealed this today on their frequently asked questions. Perhaps the lesser known of MindGeek. The writer writes in this article that it's the lesser known of MindGeek's tube sites because they apparently own Pornhub, which we all know.
Okay.
Xtube, just a little bit of information, launched in 2006, 1 year before Pornhub, and was known for hosting obviously thousands of user uploaded amateur porn videos, not to mention, though, thousands of pirated videos stolen from porn studios. Some of Xtube's videos came under intense scrutiny last year in the now infamous New York Times article condemning MindGeek because its tube sites for hosting child abuse, revenge porn, and rape videos, and credit card companies subsequently announced that they no longer process payments on the sites. It's now clear that keeping Xtube around just isn't worth it anymore for MindGeek. Interestingly enough, on this article, the writer writes, I can't remember the last time I was ever on Xtube, so it's really no loss for me personally. But he does ask the question in the article, do you watch it? And since they have paid per view content on there, so far their poll they did was, yes, I visited the site sometimes, but never spent money there. That was me. With 58.5%. No, I rarely, if ever, visited the site. That was 38%. And lastly, yes, I was a VIP member and spent money there regularly. And that was at 2.94% who said, yes, they visit that, where they would pay for extra content on there. You were saying offline, Cody, that 2.9%, almost 3% isn't really that many people, at least in this poll. I said they've been around since 2006. We all know everybody. Somebody's Leo Shevins is saying, I love. Yes. Okay, yeah, sorry. Leo Ash Evans says, love Xtube. Yeah, so do I. I've got one of my favorite porn stars. What's his name? Biaggi.
Oh,
and I've got some
Antonio.
of his Antonio.
Yep. I mean, I don't know. I haven't watched it. I don't know.
Some of his, they have a good clips of his, and I often go to for when I want to see a good pounding, and he's my go-to for that. Just saying. Just saying. But you were saying only shy of 3% pay for the content, but I said there's probably millions of subscribers on that.
It's true.
3% of millions is a huge chunk of change. So
yeah, I mean, I want that money. So now that you say how much money it is, then I'm here for it. I'm like, but I wouldn't pay for Xtube, and it's sad that they're going down, and I'll rub one out to them tonight in honor of them, going.
You have until September 5th.
Of the dodo. Oh yeah, okay, September 4th. That's when I'll do it. I'll post it on Xtube too. So, but also in the comments, I don't know if you read the comments. People think that OnlyFans is going to go out is next because they're doing an overhaul as far as like to weed out all that negative content as well.
Well, good point, because we all know I'm on Patreon. We have Patreon for our Tags podcast. You can go to patreon.com/talk about gay sex. Shameless plug here. But you get extra perks, after shows, and so forth. But on there, they were really scrutinized me at one point because I was posting like some nudes, nothing like porn, but nude pictures, and they came under fire. We're talking about Patreon, and sent to all of their. They used to have porn people that had sites on there, but because it all comes down to it all comes down to money is the point. And when the credit card companies are funding your sites, and they're giving their conservative bankers and everybody is giving them a hard time, or dare I say the GOP, they're putting pressure on them, and so they then come down, and it just trickled down economics. I don't know. Now I sound like an econ major here, but fresh out of college. Who knew? I know, right? But I think that, yeah, and it's sad. I hope it doesn't come to OnlyFans, because OnlyFans has always it was built for artists and so forth, but they're pretty straightforward with theirs. And it sounds like MindGeek is keeping Pornhub. What's the issue with that one? It's like they're getting rid of one of them. Maybe they're throwing them a bone and saying, we'll get rid of this one, but as we navigate everyone towards Pornhub, and we'll do a better job of cleaning up, any kind of content that is lascivious and illegal.
Yeah, I think that because Pornhub has more restrictions, and I think that they did a really good job of cleaning up their site from the things that are like pedophilia and things of that nature. So I think that you're right, and that they're trying to veer people to the one side. So I agree with you.
Yeah, and I'll post this up on TAGSPodcast.com tomorrow, because you could read the frequently asked questions, or you could go to Xtube and read the frequently asked questions. If you have videos up there, some of them may no longer, they'll either disappear. I know Darker Link says, good to know my video will finally be gone forever. I love it. Silas says, I love him, meaning Antonio Biaggi.
Yeah.
I'm mixed with him, but yeah, I would do it.
I was like, have you mixed with him?
Is Xtube X videos? Yes, right?
I don't think it is. I'm not really sure. I'm not that well versed. Somebody in the audience, if you could just let us know.
Yeah, let me go to my story real quick on that. The question, Xtube. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I'm not sure. I don't think it is. Someone let us know. Doug says, as if the bankers and GOP members don't watch porn. The hypocrisy is astounding. Couldn't agree with you more, Doug. Darker Link says if OnlyFans issued all these new rules. Wait, can you read that, Cody?
Yes. That you can't do. I believe Just for Fans and For My Fans is gay owned. So he's saying that OnlyFans has issued a lot of new rules as far as what can be posted on there. And Just for Fans and For My Fans is gay owned. So they haven't really gotten to that point yet. And Xtube is not X videos, because I just typed X videos in my browser, and X videos is completely different. It auto finished.
I love it. Okay, we've got to get to this next story. We're running late on
Yes.
We'll just get rid of one of our other stories, but we have to do this next one, Cody. You know which one I'm talking about. It has to do with poppers, and we're going to give you an extra on Instagram Live over here. Hi to you all. So guess what, guys? Are you a fan of poppers? Well, the FDA issued death warning around the use of poppers. They've often been considered a harmless buzz, like so many of us like to use. But now the FDA are advising consumers to stop buying and using poppers. The warning against amyl nitrate comes after a growing number of deaths and health concerns believed to be linked to the product. The FDA has observed an increase in reports of deaths and hospitalizations with issues such as severe headaches, dizziness, increase in body temperature, so on and so forth. And oh my God, what were your first thoughts when you read this, Cody? Are you throwing all your bottles away? Wait, let me read this real quick.
No.
They are already banned here in Canada, writes the Matt. Can you read that name?
The Matt Batahelo? I don't know how to pronounce that. I'm
Saying
not even going to try.
They are already banned here in Canada. Anytime we go to US, we stock up, though.
Oh, yeah. I am a big fan of, well, I used to be a big fan of poppers back in the 90s when they were like really, in the early 2000s, I mean, because I'm still young. Because they were much, the process of making them was much different. It was the ingredients were different and they were stronger and they were much better. They didn't give you a headache as much. They gave you this rush of energy. Now I feel like they're a little bit weak and I feel like they give me a headache more often than not. And I get soft when I do poppers, so I don't really do them that much anymore. So
well, there is a warning, and this is where somebody says bottoming is going to be extinct. We need to start calling our politicians to stop this ban, says the Matt Botello. I love that. Yeah, I know. So sad. The one thing I would say about it is if you're doing things like Viagra or Cialis, you need to kind of be careful because that I thought it raised your blood pressure, but I was reading in this article it lowers your blood pressure, and so does poppers. So in other words, if you're layering on your substances with poppers and then you've got other things going on and obviously your blood is flowing because you're hot and horny and you're having a lot of fun.
There it is.
I think what I'm understanding is it's about the layering of all these things that just can be too much. And it's, I don't know. What do you guys think? Is it try double Scorpio poppers, says Darker Link? Okay. Promoting them.
They don't
Cody.
work.
They don't. Okay.
I mean, I've tried a lot of them. So
What's your first thoughts, though, Cody, when you hear this, when the Food and Drug Administration is warning us about, I mean, clearly there's been cases about people going to the hospital, even dying. It's not a joke for these people that have died. What's your thinking on this?
Yeah, I think that I'm not going to be doing poppers anymore. I've slowly weaned myself off of them. And I think that if you're going to be taking other drugs like Cialis and Viagra, please stay away from poppers. Actually, I saw this on Instagram and Corey and I were having a conversation on Instagram because it said ingesting in the FDA tweet that came out. And I originally thought it was drinking them. So he and I were going back and forth as far as saying who is drinking poppers, but that's not the case. Ingesting does mean sniffing poppers.
Yeah.
As well. So, all right. Correction. All right.
And I know everyone doesn't have access, is so comfortable talking with their doctor, but these days, if you can find a doctor or an online physician to really be honest. I have some friends that are really honest about their practices and what they do. And if you can talk about, hey, listen, I would want to try this product or I like doing this, but can you advise me professionally? Maybe there is a way for it to kind of exist for you in certain circumstances. In other words, maybe when you're not intoxicating some other substances, which often is the case in our community. And could be one reason why people have problems. You also, it's very individualistic too. I mean, everybody has a different reaction to different different substances, and you have to kind of know what your limit is. I mean, don't just like open up a bottle and go crazy. I mean, you kind of know, talk to people, talk to your physician, I think is my advice on that.
Safely. That's very good advice, Steve.
Yeah. Any comments we want to read before we move on?
Silas says, if you're in NYC, look up Dr. Orbina at Mount Sinai in Chelsea. That they're amazing. And Corey has said that he's limited his use because he's on blood pressure medicine, which is very wise. And hopefully at the end of the month, he'll be able to be off the blood pressure meds and be able to use poppers again, I guess.
Okay. See, this is wise.
Let us know what happens. Yeah.
Let us know what happens. We're just reporting on it, but that's kind of our advice on that. All right, we've got to move on to Vulnerable Voices. If you've been watching us on Instagram Live, thank you so much. But you can move over to Get Vocal platform where we continue the show over there. Thank you so much, and we'll see you over there, I hope, on the other side. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys, on Instagram World.
Awesome. Well, that was a lot of fun.
So much fun.
Yeah. We've got to move on to our Vulnerable Voices. And this week, we've been having this up, but we took a couple weeks off of Vulnerable Voices, right?
Oh, yeah.
But I'm glad to be back with it because we're going to be talking about backwards and forwards. You came up with this topic, and I think it was really started by a topic of being attracted or having sex with an ex, right? I think that's how it came up. How did the topic come about?
We were on Clubhouse, and I think that the topic kind of arose naturally, and we were just discussing it. And I said, this would be a great Vulnerable Voices for us to have. So I'm glad we're talking about it.
I'm really glad too. And you know what? While we're talking about briefly Vulnerable Voices, I have an announcement. We've taken a couple weeks off of Vulnerable Voices on our, Clubhouse, sex positivity, LGBTQ plus. I was traveling and we just wanted a break from it, but we're back Tuesday night, next Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern time. It's called Sex Positivity LGBTQ plus from 9 to 10 or 6 to 7. More information on that on TAGSPodcast.com next Tuesday. Sex Positivity, we are back with that. But all right. Yeah, so it's interesting. The first thing I thought about, I have some notes here on backwards and forwards. I was watching, of course, you can't help but talk about Bennifer. J-Lo going back to Ben Affleck. I know, but
oh no. What would make you think of that?
No sooner did she like break up with A-Rod and she's already like hot and heavy, romantically involved, like going to all the spots, being photographed on round 2, and maybe round 2's a charm for them. I don't know, but I couldn't help but I had a dream of my ex though just the other night. Yeah, I did. And it was he was somebody that I thought I was over and that we're friendly, and I don't even think about that often. It was a great relationship, great sex, but I had this vivid dream of him. And we were doing a new sex act that I know he would be into that we didn't do back then. But I know if you want to listen to it, tag on our after show. I'll be talking about the dream and some more after show topics. Go to patreon.com/talk about gay sex and consider for a small monthly fee supporting our show. But
yes, I gotta subscribe to the Patreon.
Yeah, but I was thinking about some other ones. Remember, I told you on our show that I dated this guy in San Francisco briefly in the 90s when I was a go-go dancer. And then more recently, a couple years ago, I was going back to San Francisco and we were dating. The sex was even better. We were even exploring fisting and other hot things. Yeah, I'm telling you. This is a show about sex, you know? Did I get to the right? Okay, yeah.
Am I at the right show? Am I at the right show?
Am I hosting the right show? Damn it. That always happens. But yeah. And then I told you just recently that a listener wrote in because we always tell you to ask us for sex and relationship advice. And this guy wrote into us and I thought it was too familiar, and it turned out it was the boyfriend of the guy I was seeing, and he didn't know any of this stuff. But I thought about him a lot, and I was sad when I heard he had this new boyfriend. But you know what? I think I moved on from that. I have some more stories about moving backwards and trying old relationships. And what's your thoughts on this, backwards and forwards?
All right. So I have been a firm believer of if you go back, you don't go backwards in life ever. You always move forward. And if you broke up with somebody, you broke up with them for a reason. Now in my somewhat older and more mature and wiser years, I begin to reevaluate things. And I'm a human being. I'm allowed to change my mind. You know what I'm saying? So there has to be extenuating circumstances for me to actually go back with an ex and think about rehashing or reviving a relationship that I thought was dead.
Well, okay. So we were talking a little bit about this earlier. And can you go back, because I've done this before, and be in your new mindset? In other words, moving forward, but hit it again, for old time's sakes. And I have done that.
The rules are completely different for me when it comes to that. There's only 2 rules, I think. And it has to be, there's no feelings at all, because if I have feelings for you and we have sex, then that's only going to intensify the feelings. And the sex has to be amazing in order for me to come back and have sex with somebody. So.
Okay. So you would, but.
I would, but I have rules. I have a list of rules for each situation. So throw the situations at me and I got you, boo.
Yeah, and for me, I mean, the one guy that I had the dream of, I think a couple times, and this is years later after we broke up, because we broke up pretty amicably, and we ran into each other several years later, even in Mykonos, and had sex a couple times. And I think we were in a newfound place. Like, it was really great sex. We were able to kind of even roll around the next morning and enjoy it, and say goodbye, but it wasn't like, is he going to call me? Is it that? It was really like 2.0 with this person, but like evolved. And we were both able to enjoy the experience, not once, not twice, but I think 3 times. And he recently liked a photo on my Instagram, and I was like, "Oh,
is there going to
be a 4? I mean, and I'm now at Stevie 3.0.
That's right.
So yeah, just saying.
Hey,
Doug says once an ex. Doug says once an ex. You're an ex. Go ahead, read it.
Now, that being said, my last one had an amazing can on him. Oh, his butt. And I would definitely hook up again. I was like, can a beer can dick? I was confused, but thank you, Doug. I got it now.
Yes. And Darker Link says, Lord, I'm very over my ex, laughing out loud. I mean, most people are, but
yeah, I'm very over my exes too.
I'm not. To be truly honest, most of my relationships, and I listed them all. You can't see it, but they're on a piece of paper here. Well, because I was doing my work
and a fax of that.
You don't know. We do pre-production work on this show. So I was listing them, and I'm like, that person, that person, that person, that person, and all of them. For the most part, I left out one because that was the only one that didn't end well at all. But 1 out of like 6 or 7 that ended, amicably, and we're still in some way, shape, or form either following each other on social media, or in one sense, my first boyfriend ever, second actually, we talk all the time. He calls my mom. Where I call him he's a great chef, and so I'm always calling him about, especially during the pandemic. Wait, what do I do on this? What do I add to this? And we just have this great evolved friendship, but we're very intimate. When we get together, we're really intimate. Like, he and I have our own conversation, and we can tease each other, and it's just its own thing. And all the other ones, I mean, I could see kind of having sex with again or something, maybe not going backwards, but having a new evolved thing, because we're not enemies.
Yeah, I can see that too. Well, I can see having a friendship with an ex, but I don't know necessarily about going back and having a relationship with an ex. I have two listed, but they were situations where I'm dating somebody now, and there was an ex at a party, and he was kind of hitting on me, I feel like, but I made sure that I put my foot down and that I made no advances towards him. And I said, I didn't tell him expressly that there was no chance for him, but I did not reciprocate at all as far as flirting was concerned.
You're so good. And I know your boyfriend, and I can see why you guys are so in love, and I love him meeting him.
Thank you.
Awesome. I, on the other hand, was in Mykonos once and saw my ex, and I was with my current boyfriend, who I just could not break up with. I don't know what was going on with me. I could not break up with him, and so much so that we were in Mykonos together, and we're at this club pounding music. We walk by, I see my ex, he sees me, he grabs me in front of my boyfriend, but he didn't know it was my boyfriend, and starts making out with me.
No.
Did I push him back? Did I push him off me, Cody? The answer is no. I did it.
Steve.
I know, but I know. So we ultimately broke up, and I'm not saying it's right. I'm just divulging here, but I like your response, and that's really good.
Thank you.
Moving on, let's read some comments.
All right. I was going to get into another situation, but okay. All right.
We got to get to these comments, Joe.
Okay, they are lining up over here. You're right.
So, question for you guys, says Joe. What do you guys think about someone following you at a party who was more than a fling but not a boyfriend? Following you at a party. That sounds like your story, Cody. And
it does.
Yeah, I mean, shut it down if you don't want it to continue. That's my answer to that. Shut it down, which is kind of your story, Cody, which is what you did. So
exactly.
What if they are, Stug says, what if they are in another relationship and are in town and they want to hook up? Is that a no-no? Asking for a friend. Doug?
Sure, Doug.
I see you, Doug. You know what? Pretend you didn't know that information, and if they are out of town,
Steve.
Well, you don't know if they
don't agree with that.
Well, all right, that's my pretend. I mean, listen, they are going away. It's not your problem.
Find out what the situation is between the two of them, and then take it from there. If they're in an open relationship, then proceed as you will, but then if they're in a relationship, definitely stay far, far away from them.
Joe says, nope, I clearly didn't give him the time of day. Okay, good. Yeah. So shut it down, right? I guess is what I was saying, Cody, right on that one.
I agree with you. Shut it all the way down.
But read some more things. There's a lot. Darker Link says, I'm with Steve. I'm not responsible for someone else's relationship. Thank you.
I think we as gay men need to be kinder to one another and more respectful of each other's relationships.
Back to Doug. The situation is he's promiscuous.
No, don't do it.
I don't know what that means. If it's just good sex and you want to have good sex, if he's promiscuous or not, he's clearly sleeping.
He should talk to his partner about this. And
why do you got to get into his mind, Cody? Just have sex, and he's gonna fly off back to Cucamonga and live his life.
Albuquerque, yeah,
Albuquerque.
Silas says karma, and he agrees with me. So I agree with Silas. Me and Silas are of one accord here.
But is the karma just because you're privy to the knowledge that he has a boyfriend? I mean, I would maybe ask are you open? So
that's what I said. Ask them if they're open, and if they're open, then that's a completely different situation.
It sounds like he's not.
Have a great time. It sounds like he's not. It sounds like he just likes to mess around.
Yeah, clarity is
Silas
key.
Says, yep, clarity is key. Thank you, Silas.
Back to darker. This is fun. Darker League says if he's promiscuous, then he should not be in a monogamous relationship, or he should be single. And you know what? To that comment, next week you're off, Cody. Next week because you're going to be in Mexico with one of our viewers. Happy birthday!
Two of our viewers.
Happy birthday, Silas. But we're gonna have this guest, I think, next week. They're in a polyamorous relationship, and I think we're gonna ask the questions. I mean, do you get what does polyamorous mean to you? Do you sleep together, separately? Do you tell each other? We're gonna ask all those questions. So definitely tune in next week. It should be a good show on that. And yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Whoa. It's a lot to consider.
Can't believe you're going to have a good time without me, Steve.
Oh, my God. I'm not worried about you in Mexico. My goodness. Shut the F up. All right. We've got to move on. Thank you for playing on that.
Thank you guys for weighing in, too.
Yeah. We've got to get to two more things here. And which out of the two stories do you want to do, Cody, before we get to our thirst trap? I'm leaving it up to Cody.
I want to talk about the one where the broken penis one.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. So a man's penis broke vertically during sex, and it's an apparent medical first. A man in the UK appears to be a medical first, though probably not in the way he would have wanted. His doctors say he was the first known person to have had his penis broken vertically during sex. And despite the odd injury, though, the man has fully recovered. And a broken penis or a penile fracture is more accurately described as a tear, starting from the tunica albungenia. That's that protective layer surrounding the erectile tissue that pumps the blood to the penis. And the reason why it feels like a broken bone is that most injuries happen during sex. When a fully erect penis is bent too far and or with too much force and buckles under pressure, which then causes blood in the penis to leak out. And that's why bruising, when this happens, it's almost always accompanied by a loud, sorry guys, popping sound along with quickly forming bruising and swelling. This isn't what happened to the guy, though. The urologist behind this case studied it and reported back that their patient's injury was even rarer than the typical variety. Like most cases, the 40-year-old man had gotten hurt during sex, specifically when it was a woman, sorry guys, was on top, and his penis buckled against his partner's perineum. More colorfully known as the taint. But he didn't show signs of those symptoms that I was just talking about, like the penile fracture. He hadn't heard that loud popping sound. His penis was also only moderately swollen, and he didn't immediately lose his erection. Instead, it gradually faded. But he had an MRI, and turns out he did have all the symptoms, and he did have to have surgery. I guess the point of this story is that this urologist wants everyone to know is if there's something you feel wrong, get it checked out immediately. It could be nothing. 9 times out of 10, this is very rare. But in this case, good on the patient, the guy having sex, because it turned out to be a penile fracture and he had to have surgery. And in this case, you're recommended to have surgery earlier on so that you don't have erectile dysfunction forever.
That's right.
It was just one of those rare cases. But I think as it's a hot vac summer and people are really getting out there, listen to your body. And this is not going to happen to you. But don't sweep anything under the rug was what I got out of the story. What were your thoughts?
That's right. So, okay, I'm going to start this off a little bit lightly, and then I'm going to get serious, and then I'm going to go back light again. Are you ready?
Okay, good. Yeah, ready.
Right. So at first, I was like, this reminds me of something. And all I have written in my notes is broken penis, right?
Not alone.
And so do you watch Insecure?
Yes, of course.
Do you remember when Issa was rapping about her friend Molly's broken P-U-S-S-Y. I don't even want to say.
Yes. And I'm Molly, by the way.
Oh, really? Okay.
I'm the character of Molly.
So I'm rapping about your broken P-U-S-S-Y. So yeah, okay, that's what it reminded me of at first. But then I read the story and it made me really uncomfortable. But I realized how important this information is to have, because I would rather go to the doctor within the 24 hours of the fracture, recover, and then be able to do all the wild sex stuff a fractureless penis is able to do, than the alternative, which is to have the long-term effects that you mentioned by not getting it treated. So if something like this happens to you, don't be ashamed. Just make sure you go to the doctor and get yourself taken care of.
Yeah,
take care of your penis, people.
Yeah, and I mean, or your ass. I mean, I've talked about it on the show before that. I mean, it's on our Dark and Dirty after show. If you go to our Patreon page, where I had an incident where I had to go to the hospital and it wasn't fun. It had to do with the toy, but you know, I learned a lot about myself in that moment where I'm going to give you a quick example. The other day we were doing a barbecue at my mom's house and I was slicing and I sliced part of my finger, which that shit looks like it's healed.
Did it grow back?
It's healed. Wow. In this show it healed. But it was gushing blood. Okay,
Wolverine,
blood.
Get your life together.
I know. I'm like, wow. But I knew in my body enough in that moment that it did not require stitches. It just required heavy gauze. But I knew in that sex moment that something was clearly wrong. And I knew, get over yourself, call the hospital, ask them. And it was a requirement to come on in. And so I think good on this person to have gone in, because it didn't show the normal signs, quote unquote, normal signs of an erectile dysfunction issue that requires surgery. It was an anomaly that turned out to be serious and did require. So you gotta really, in your hot vac summer, listen to your body. And if you think something, really check in with somebody else. Have those people that you can really ask advice for, and don't brush anything under the rug.
That's right. And being over 40 is one of the risk factors.
Of what?
I was like, of actually getting your penis broken. I don't know what the technical term is. I was like, come for my neck. I like, really?
Well, I announced the other day that I'm a total bottom. So, I mean, so I guess I don't have to worry about like somebody. No, I do.
You anyway. Do. Take care of your broken penis, guys. Some of the comments are that Silas says that it's time for a vagina because he wants to trade his penis in for a vagina. Corey actually says that his ex used to crack his penis like you crack your knuckles.
I
know, right? Okay. And then Doug goes, I guess she was throwing it back on him like nobody's business. And Silas again goes, don't have sex with vaginas. And then there's just a bunch of laughing, and take care of your penis, which I already said.
Thanks for playing on that. And lastly, we couldn't end the show without our favorite subject, thirst
you
trap.
Put it in the chat. Look at you.
I'm on it. We got to wrap the show up. We are almost over time here. This is the segment that we started that's halfway through our show. We're almost on a year, Cody, of Tags Live. Our year anniversary. So we got to do something big. When you come back, we'll plan it. Thank you, everybody. And a quick, before we get to Thirst Trap, if you're watching live, I put it in the comment section. Tell us what your favorite thirsty person porn star is of the week. We'll announce it out. I will post this on TAGSPodcast.com tomorrow. Next week, we are back with our clubhouse Sex Positivity next Tuesday night, and so join us if you can. Sex Positivity LGBTQ plus 9 p.m. Eastern time to 10. All right, let's get started. Who was your favorite, Cody, on this, and then we'll read the people's responses.
So my favorite this week was TJ, and he's just this adorable blonde guy. and he's in a bathtub, and he stands up and he exposes this beautiful, beautiful cock, and he turns around. It's a video, by the way, and he shows us his scrumptious ass, and it makes me want to get all dirty and then get all clean again in the bathtub. So it was great. It's fantastic. Have you seen the video?
I have not, but I will now. Thank you for that.
You need to go watch it.
Well, mine is a video as well, and it's by a guy that goes by Jarek Wentworth, Jerec, Jarek Wentworth. She's
not in jail? Oh, wait, what?
Oh, I don't know. He is, first of all, he's got a sexy beard, hairy chest, really sexy beard. I have to say that part about him. And in the video, in his bathroom, it looks like he has a flesh jack hoist up to, you know how you suction cup, and he's pounding it to death. And he's doing, I get such a clear image of that was my ass getting pounded, and I like the moves on it. And I know if there was a video book on, okay, who would you want to hire to get pounded tonight? If I came across this one, yeah, done. Him, number 84. Let's go. His name is Jarek Wentworth. Fine, great. Show up. We're doing it. And yeah,
he got released early, by the way.
What do you mean?
He did go to jail. He went to jail.
Even hotter. Do not tell me the crime. It will ruin the whole experience. I do not want to know these people. We report too much on these guys, and they're lascivious. Like, I don't rain on my parade.
I literally just Googled it. I was like, wait a minute, am I right or am I wrong?
I can't. Okay.
I can't put false information out there into the internet. But yeah, I was right.
In a weird way, it sort of adds to the hot factor of my fantasy. I mean, he didn't rape somebody, or he didn't. Right? What's extortion?
When you threaten to expose someone for money.
Oh, okay. Well, stealing.
Silas said stealing.
Okay, well,
simple.
Okay, why do you guys want to rain on my parade? He was part of our thirst trap. Anyways,
well,
I have another one.
Blackmail.
Okay,
I don't know. I'm not necessarily 100% sure what extortion is. It's fancy blackmail, basically.
Clearly, he's out of jail, and everyone's forgiven him, and they haven't canceled him. He did his time, and I'm all about forgiveness. If you know anything.
That's right. Okay, RuPaul, get it.
Well, the new me is about forgiveness.
All right.
All right. Thank you. Is that it? Do we have anybody that? Okay, I guess we're good, right?
Everybody's saying hide your wallet. That's all.
Hide your. Okay, got it. Yeah, my ass. There's nowhere to put it. Thank you guys for playing. This has been so much fun. We're switching over to the new platform. So this is Get Vocal you're on. They are switching over to the 2.0 version. And I believe next week, if all is good, it will be vocal.com, and we'll be on there. If you want, I know we might not do it because you might be I know we'll do it the following week then.
Yeah,
so,
that's right.
Yeah.
That sounds right.
All right.
Give the new guy.
And we'll have more information on how to switch over to it'll be much more bells and whistles and so much more fun. Thanks, guys. This has been so awesome. You can follow Cody Maurice Doggett at 2 of his Instagrams, at Mr. Maurice, or he's a life coach at KMD Coaching, at KMD Coaching. You can follow us at TAGSPodcast. DM us for sex or relationship advice. We're here for solicited and unsolicited. We give it. We serve it up. And we're back all next week. Thanks so much. In the meantime, continue having hot gay sex. Love it. Thanks, Cody. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Bye.